What is going on, 5-9 gamers? My name is Joe Wags, and today I will be your host for your favorite podcast, the Dokkan Battle Podcast. Our podcast is presented to you by 5-9 Gaming, your source for all things gaming, anime, and entertainment related. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things 5-9. Today's episode is an exciting one, episode 83, The Great Drought of 2022, or as I like to call it, literally just Patan Part 2, because we already had an episode called Literally Just Patan, and I feel like that's where we're at. So this exciting episode I cannot handle by myself, so I brought some amazing guests with me. First up, we have the Master of Slime, Ice Cold Joker. How are you doing this week?
Oh, I'm just loving all the content that I have to do in Dokkan right now. I'm so busy.
You know, for content creators like us who kind of dabble in two games, these droughts are actually kind of nice because then we just put more time to our game into our other games. So hopefully Slime has a lot of content for you. Opera Omnia has definitely kept me busy, so it's nice to have a second game to go along with it. Next up, we've got the newest Genshin addict, Minato. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I will say actually, the funny thing is, I'm not technically even a new Genshin addict because this my account. I've been playing. I've had my account since like the first week of Genshin. I just quit for a while, but that's a whole other topic. Hello,
Yeah.
gamers.
Well, happy to have you either way. And then last but not least, we've got the producer joining us today. Vilify, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm kind of disappointed though, because these other guys have such fun titles, and I just get the producer.
Well,
You're the most important aspect, though. You produce the
Yeah.
podcast.
yeah,
I guess I'm the glue,
producer,
right?
man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. The glue himself.
Yeah, the glue. There you go.
I think it's good.
Not the most exciting thing, but we'll work with it, right? Yeah, but I'm doing well. I'm
Yeah.
glad to talk about the ever so exciting Dokkan battle adventure.
Yeah,
we're
so
in
let's right. So we'll get into the desert that is Dokkan Battle or Dragon Ball Z Desert Battle. I don't know, there's all kinds of puns we can come up with, right? So the time period we're in right now, I guess, is typically a dry period, but to me it feels a little bit more dry than usual. So right now we basically just have Patan Battle. We have the banner, but we already talked about it last week, the LR banner. So I mean, pretty much, guys, where we're at. We're where we were last week plus Patan Battle. I mean, I don't know that there's really anything else going. I mean, we know that the Cell Easy is coming. And we've got title missions, and I mean those are kind of fun, right? So what I think we'll start with is let's just get everyone's overall take in on like what is going on right now. Are you enjoying at least doing the title missions, or what are you doing to kind of stay busy right now? So Minato, let's start with you. Just what is your overall take on what's going on right now in Dokkan?
I think that they personally spread the content a little too far apart from each other. Like, there's no reason why the Cell EZA, and then the Super Battle Road and everything that goes along with it drops just only for one night, right? So we have all that stuff dropping just almost 2 weeks after the banner, and it's really weird it didn't like spread anything out. Because if we look at the total celebration, we got a lot. We got like what, three normal Super Battle Road stages, two extreme Super Battle Road stages. We got the Super Strike Trunks EZA. We got the we got the physical Cell EZA S tier Ultimate Gohan. We had an Infinite Dragon Ball history. We had all these title missions, right? There is a lot that really did come to the actual Golden Week celebration, but they dropped it all. Like, they dropped one batch at the beginning, one batch in the middle of the month, and then one batch at the end of the month, right? So because they dropped everything all at once instead of spacing stuff out like they usually could do, there's even the chain battle, right? The chain battle hasn't started just yet, and that still starts in a few days from now. They kind of mess up, like, maybe right now they could have the chain battle going on, and then, like, the next days they drop, the Super Battle Road. Then on the 24th, they drop the Cell EZA, but it's all on the 24th, so I don't like what they're doing with that. What I'm doing to stay busy really is just link leveling. I'm also like some of these, like, I'm basically at the same time on the side, I am also farming up like these SSRs. Because I'm starting to keep SSRs of these characters, like TURs and stuff like that. I'm starting to keep them. So that could be very good.
What's your reasoning for like holding on to some of those SSRs? What's your plan? Just like collection purposes, or
Just basically for my power level.
oh, for power level? Sure, that makes sense. So Joker, what have you been doing the past week in Dokkan? What are your overall thoughts on how things are going right now?
I mean, I've literally just been link leveling on the side while playing Slime, because Slime's the main game that I focus on, and Dokkan is over here always on auto. But I mean, Minato said most of it. Like, everything was spaced off so very in a strange way, where we got a lot in the beginning, we got a lot in the second week, and then we have a dead week of nothing, and then we get like a couple things at the very end of the month, and it's like, why they could have taken like one SBR and one ESBR and put it this week, and then had less in the previous weeks, and it still would have been probably a well-spaced month and something we'd be more accustomed to, because most people who play Dokkan for a while are used to the whole, hey, they dropped content and we're done in 10 minutes. It's like, this is true, but this is like the first time in a while that they literally haven't done anything, and it feels weird, and it's not like them. So I feel like something happened over at Bandai Namco headquarters, and they just kind of they left an intern in charge of the scheduling, and they're like, yeah, no, let him handle it, it'll be fine. And they messed up or something, so I'm sure that intern still works there at his cube. I'm sure he's fine.
This is a Team B week, right? That's what Team B.
Yeah, this is Team B week, right?
Team B week.
Team
yeah.
A is still on there. It's like an extended Golden week
Right.
holiday.
Well, I think Team A got delayed with Dragon Ball Super Hero. So whenever Super Hero comes, Team A hopefully is coming back, but we'll see. Vilify, what are your thoughts on the celebration? What have you been doing this past week?
So Minato kind of brought up a couple things that I had kind of let slip. I completely forgot about the STR Ultimate Gohan EZA being a part of the celebration. And we also did have a chain battle with another one coming. So I guess there is a little bit more than I thought. But, to keep myself busy, the normal answer, link leveling and the title missions, it gave me an excuse to be able to run the Ginyu team a little bit more, because that's a really good free-to-play option over on the JP side. So, real low team cost, but, Ginyu's just a Chad, so he does a lot of good stuff. But, the title missions are a cool concept, but it's not the most exciting thing in the world, right? And especially when you play JP, I don't even know where the title's at. You got to really look for it. So, it kind of makes it.
Yeah, even on global, I struggled finding the title, because there's titles called like Legendary GT Goku events. So I was looking for titles with that name, but they give them a different name. So I kind of struggled to find them, but eventually I found them.
You get the wrong one, you go back to the top of the list.
Oh,
so that's at least in my experience, right? But this is the real Ultra Instinct. I like that one a lot. So I'm definitely glad to have that title now.
Yes, for sure. And yeah, I guess for me, it's kind of similar. Like, a lot of link leveling, and like Joker, I have a second game I play on my channel, which has actually had a lot of content. So part of the reason I've always played two main gachas is for this reason. When one is dry, the other one usually has something. So I do like that. I sometimes don't mind a little dry period, because it gives you time to do other things. Like Minato said, he's collecting SSRs. For me, I actually have some banner units I just never awakened because they've been trash. I know they're going to easy at some point, so it gives me time to kind of prep and get some of those going. I also just love doing like unit showcase type things and doing Legendary Goku event runs, trying out units. So I've had a little bit of time to play around and do that as well. And after Minato kind of summarizes it, we're not saying that the celebration is bad by any means, because there has been some very good content. But I think Minato has a good point. I think the spacing is kind of odd, right? And so my thought on this is, because this is like a really large gap. Like, we got the announcement of Cell's EZA. This gap seems abnormally large. And my thought, I mentioned it last week on the podcast, but I feel like that they had a bigger section of time planned for Dragon Ball Super Hero. And this celebration, whether it was pre-planned or just thrown together right now, it didn't quite fit that size, that time slot that they have for it. And I feel like they're really, really trying to stretch it out. That's kind of my thought on that right there, right? So, I mean, we can talk really quick. Maybe we can just do another summary of the units, right? So I think we'd agree a lot of the units that came out were great. We've got the Cell and the Gohan Dokkan, the Goku Gohan Dokkan Fest, and then the LR. I think we'd all agree that those are really great. And then the EZAs maybe a little less popular there, right? So I'll jump back to Minato again. How would you just summarize, if you just think about the units in this celebration, how would you kind of summarize them, or what are your standouts or takeaways from the units in this celebration?
I think they're all pretty good, honestly. Right? I'm not really too disappointed in many of the units. I would say that the one thing I am disappointed about, and if we're just talking about in general, would be the exchange conditions, every time I use the Goku slash Gohan unit, I just think that the exchange condition, considering the unit doesn't do any additional super attacks, is just a tad bit too strict, right? If they like try to make it a little simpler of an exchange condition, instead of just 3 super attacks, make it turn 5, right? I think that would be way better consistent. Compared to having to get 3 super attacks, especially with all these bosses in the red zone that could seal you, stun you, and all that stuff, right? It can be a little difficult to get that active skill off, but besides that, I think that they're all just incredible units. The LR Goku and Gohan could potentially be like the 3rd best unit in the game or something like that, right? And probably even the best unit in the game on global, right? Very, very insane. And I think that they did a really good job, rebuilding up the Android's team as well, specifically because you could obviously tell they're doing that for the superhero movie upcoming.
Yes, I am very, very excited about that myself. Joker, what is your takeaway from the units? What are your biggest takeaway?
I mean, I've only been able to use like the friend Cell and the friend Goku Gohan unit because I still haven't pulled them, and now that the discounts are gone and
Yeah.
the sales are all spent, then I can't go back into their banners. But I mean, I've been using like their Rainbow Friend versions, and they're really strong. Cell, I think, is a slightly better version of Kid Buu, which is all things fair because he's come out later. Goku Gohan, I have to agree that if they're not built for additionals, it's a little bit difficult to get Gohan out, which is who you're really shooting for. But Goku is still a very solid unit. Like he's not bad in any way. It's just that he's relegated to slot 2 or 3, which not really 3 because you want supers and you want him on main rotation. But he can still hold his own unless you're putting in unless you're playing like an idiot and putting him in front of a million attacks. I do have the LR though, and I gotta say, like they're getting close to level 10 links, and I don't have any dupes in them, but I had some good silver and bronze additional orbs, and they can do triple supers. And the first one's 8 million, the second one and third one are like 4 millions. So even at 55%, they can put up some dumb numbers, but still suffer from the fact that they need someone in slot 1.
Yep.
Which you would want that Gohan, but then you got to get Goku out, and then you got to get Gohan in. You can put Heart Virus Goku in slot 1. I think they share like 3 or 4 links, and he's a pretty good, slot 1 tank. So you could always do that. But I think they're really good, and I do think they're probably top 1, 2, or 3 on global right now.
Yeah, for sure. And then Vilify, what's your takeaway just from the units as a whole?
I gotta start with Joker. I don't like you saying that Heart Virus Goku's a pretty good tank. I gotta say. I mean, what more do you want?
I mean, if you're
everything, Tech God Goku's a pretty good tank, actually.
Yeah.
What about
that?
Tech God Goku doesn't have an HP restriction for his defense, though. Does he?
Nope.
No.
Is it just dependent on Rainbow Warps?
Yes.
Yeah. So the only real complaint that I have, we kind of talked about it before, the exchange condition, but also that Goku, I don't understand the purpose of dodging after the super attack, right? Because that's when he gets the it's just dumb, right? I don't know why.
Yeah, I kind of wish I wish they would have done it as first attacker in the turn, right. After collecting orbs, something like that. Yes, that would have made a lot more sense for sure.
Yeah, and then Cell, you can. I just like the way that Cell is kind of done, because if you get him turn 1, you get perfect Cell on turn 5, right? And there's no inconsistencies based with it, and it's with the Goku / Gohan, it's without dupes or really good skill orbs, you really are going to be struggling to get Gohan out in any reasonable fashion, right? Without additionals, it's going to be tough. So, some minor things, but still really good units. I didn't pull Goku / Gohan, but Goku and Gohan I got lucky enough to have. So, had a little bit of trial runs with them. Fun unit. Kind of a small teaser for what the 7-year LRs are going to look like. But obviously the 7-year LRs are better, but it's separate conversation.
Right. I mean, to me as a whole, the units in the celebration have just completely changed the teams I like to play and have taken over my new favorite teams in the game. Now, obviously, rainbowing the 2 Dokkan Fest really helps you want to play them, so I've been very motivated to play these teams. But the STR Goku Gohan team, I absolutely love that team. The LR I got at 55%, and they are just an absolute monster. I cannot believe how good they are. I wholeheartedly believe they are the best 55% unit in the game. Now I can't compare to 7-year units. I'm talking global here. But for me on my global account, they are the most impressive unit I have ever used at 55%. So love that. And then as was mentioned earlier, I think the cell kind of reinvigorating this androids team. I know tech androids came around and did that a little bit, but now invigorating them with the 200% leader skill, obviously setting up for Dragon Ball Superhero movie. But it makes me more excited for that celebration, knowing that whatever comes out, odds are it's going to fit on this 200% team. So I really, really like that idea as well. And then as another side note, as we've talked about link leveling, but a fun fact some of you might not know is in your profile, you can go to the subpage and look at how many times you've used a unit. When you get a brand new unit with a new name that you've never used, which this LR Goku and Gohan is a brand new named unit, it's kind of fun to check when you link level. You can actually, like, right when you get them the full level 10 links, you can check how many times you've used them. And it's kind of a way to track, like, how long does it take to get a unit to link level 10. And it's really, really interesting. So someone in my Discord did it in 250 runs. And then I chatted with Ningen about it on Twitter, and I think his was like 350 something runs. I haven't finished mine yet, but it'll be kind of interesting to see how many runs it takes me to get them the full level 10 link. So just a little bit of trivia there, or just a little tidbit for some people that might be curious about that. But that was kind of a cool thing that we had there. So earlier, Minato, when talking about the celebration, had brought up, Extreme Super Battle Road and Super Battle Road. I'm jumping back a little bit on our outline here, but I wanted to touch on this. The whole format now that they're doing SBR, they used to release them all in batches of 10. Now what they are doing is they are releasing them one at a time and kind of spreading them out. So what I want to ask you guys is, what do you think of this format? Do you like it? Would you rather get them one at a time like this? Because the bad part about it is like you can find out what the reward is. Like, we know that the EZA is coming for the Tech Goku Gohan, but we don't know what it is, and we can't obtain it yet because it's going to be far off. So would you rather do it this way, or would you rather just get the 10, get the new unit, and be done with it? So Vilify, I'll start with you this time. What are your thoughts on the SBR format?
I think it with the 10 at a time, it was kind of like a fun thing where it's like, oh, tomorrow's Super Battle Road Day, and it's like everybody's going to be doing the same stages at the same time, and there's so many of them and stuff like that. But I think the one at a time isn't bad because it's just additional content. You could say that it's lazier that way, but it helps remove like the quote unquote global shaft that we have here, right? Where it's like they have to wait so long to get the new stages, and that kind of, we get rid of that now, right? So I think the one at a time is okay, but the 10 I think was a little bit more fun.
Sure. Joker, how about you?
I agree. I liked having the whole day dedicated to having 10 full stages, and then you have a lot of content to make on those 10 because each one has a team and each one has an optimal team that you can take in afterwards, but you limit it to one stage, one or two stages, and it's done pretty fast. And so I'd like to have it all up front and have like the EZA for the unit immediately available once you get it all done. Like, you're actually working towards something rather than just being time gated.
Sure. Minato, how about you?
I think that having them as once a month or like 3 times a month, I think is fine. Just because overall, it just means that we are going to get Super Battle stages, more stages in the same amount of time that we would get the 10, right? If you really look at it. Though when there used to be 10 Super Battle it just used to be more fun. I think everyone else kind of explained my overall thought process on it as well. But just want to say that I personally would say it is more fun a little when you have like 10 stages, everyone's trying it out, and you're able to try all of them separately. It also just makes it feel like there's a lot more to do, right?
Yeah. So yeah, my thought about it is, I mean, I can kind of see the pros and cons either way, because the fact that they're releasing them one at a time, I feel like in the end, like if they were just doing it 10, we would just be like not having anything this whole time, and we wouldn't get the all 10 stages until the 10th one would have released. I think that's kind of how they would have spaced it out. But I just remember like when the 10 would come out, it was so fun. Like Joker was talking about having your SBR day, and it's kind of fun. Like, which stage do I want to run first? I could, which video do I want to record first? I know a lot of YouTubers love streaming them and would do like 3-4 hour streams of just like grinding these things out, trying to no item run them. And I do like the idea of getting the rewards right away. So I can see it either way, but because I can see the idea of it is nice to have more content to put out. And like one of the problems with this celebration was not properly spacing it out. Well, having an SBR stage to sprinkle here and there, I think allows them to pace the content a little bit better. So yeah, I'm kind of, I guess I would say I'm indifferent, which I know is an exciting opinion, but I think that's where I am on that. So next up here, I mean, we could talk about the free to play. I guess I'll just summarize. We got the 3 free to play units. So it's the Ultimate Gohan, we've got the Goten, and we've got the Angel Goku. I guess I'll just ask, what are your thoughts in terms of? I think we'd all agree none of them are super stellar. Do you guys see any use for these free to plays? We'll just give you a chance to like any comment you want to make on the free to play units. So, Joker, do you have any opinion on these free to play units? Have you used them yet? Do you have any overall thoughts of how good you think they are?
They're all pretty mid. I think they've really been holding back on free to play EZAs. Not like big time EZAs, because we've got the anniversary ones. Gohan is still very good, but the free to play EZAs, I feel like they've just been not doing a very good job with them to make them really viable in most of the like good content. But that's just me.
Sure. Vilify, do you have any thoughts on the free to plays?
Yeah, I haven't awakened any of them.
So that tells you how good they are, right?
Useful.
Like how excited you are.
I got the stones from the EZA area, and I was like, I think I'm good on this. But Goku, to me, it's just such a wild thing. They're like, they were writing this up, they were cooking up this unit, and they're like, yeah, turn 8 dodge chance. That's good, Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, my comment. So I did a showcase on all of them on my channel. Actually, I maybe didn't do Ultimate Gohan yet, but on the Goku, the way I explained the Goku is they built him backwards. He should have had the dodge chance early and then built up and become more stronger rather than, kind of having more stuff in the gate and then getting the dodge. The dodge chance later, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like long events where you can't activate it, it is just backwards. So, Minato, your thoughts on the free to plays?
They suck. Oh, that's really it. They're just bad. Goten's okay, right? I guess they don't. They could be solid in certain situations, but they suck, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is the fact that they have like a bit of support sprinkled in, but it's not enough support where you're like, oh my god, I want to run them. The problem is on all their teams, like there's always better options you want to run. So my thought going into it is like, I can't wait to EZA them, not because I want to use them, but because I might need them for someone else's EZA later, right? Because that's the thing I always tell everyone, you should grind every free-to-play unit, because the trend is at some point they're going to have an EZA area or a prime battle where you're going to need these guys, and you don't want to have to farm them up later. So they're definitely worth farming, and I think there was some pretty good mission rewards for farming them, wasn't there? I don't remember exactly what there were, but I'm pretty sure there was some reward tied to getting them EZA'd. I think there was some stones and stuff in there, but yeah, I think they're always worth grinding, but I don't see myself ever using these guys, to be honest. But they're there. They exist. You never know. They might come into play somewhere, right? So let's talk about just same time celebrations in general. And I kind of want to compare this to other same time celebrations, maybe excluding some of the really big ones, but for like a same time celebration of this size, and we can maybe compare to Golden Week last year. Golden Week was I believe the GT Goku and the GT Vegeta, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So Minato, if you were to just maybe compare this to other similar celebrations, what do you think is different? Do you think they did better this time, worse this time? Well, what do you think?
I think that people will look back at this celebration specifically and not like it as much compared to last year, because I think last year they did better with how they spaced out the content. Though if you look at it overall, I think this year might have been slightly better, right? The free to play units last year, I think I remember like B-Pan was one of them, right? It was like way better than like Prime Battle Vegeta, right? Which Global didn't even get that Prime Battle easy Vegeta, right?
Right.
And he just kind of is meh, right? The Goku, Gohan, and Goten are meh, right? I think that's something that definitely, I think, like our community looks a lot to some of the free to play units, because not everyone's going to get every unit, but everyone's going to be able to get every free to play unit, right? So the quality of those free to play units not being as great, I think, makes people look more down on this celebration. And I would say that the EZAs last year, Super Saiyan 4s, were just way more hyped than the EZAs this year, right? I mean, it is what it is. Super Saiyan 4s is just incredibly exciting. And people, for some reason, are just very sour on Gohan and Cell, right? People just don't like Gohan and Cell. I see a lot of people just dislike that fight, which I personally never got it. Like Gohan and Cell is really cool, but it is what it is there. So I feel like overall people might look back at last year, just being better. Considering that the GT Super Saiyans are also more easy to use units in a sense, right? They just put them on the team, they orb change, they nuke, and they're just good, right? That's really it. I think with these units, you need a little more thought when playing them.
Sure. Joker, what are your thoughts on comparing this to other similar celebrations or just last year directly?
Compared to last year, so we got to look at the quality of units that came out. Like Nato went over GT, Goku, and Vegeta. They're still pretty good mainstays on any team that you want to put them on. But then you put like the GT Trunks and Goten and Trunks, who are a great stacking support, and then you got the GT Gohan and Goten, who are super good support for the GT Heroes team. And if they triple super, they've got like 500k defense, and they're both really good running on the GT Heroes team. And then you've got the EZA Super Saiyan 4s, who by themselves are spitting out 7 million attack stats higher now with the 200% leader skills. And then you look at this year, and it's like, yeah, you got Gohan and Cell. Cell, who's a transforming unit's got to build up, so it's going to take a bit to get him to perfect form. And then Goku, Gohan, where they're solid, and then you have some weird conditions for Gohan to come out. And then the side banner units like Vegeta is decent. 16 and 18 are I don't hear anyone talk about them for probably good reasons. And it's just, I don't want to say they're going backwards, because obviously the 7th anniversary was Omega hype, but for like these kind of middle celebrations, they're kind of holding back, and I'm not much of a fan of it. Hopefully they don't go backwards on the worldwide as well, being it the second biggest celebration in Dokkan. Tempers my expectations though for like Tanabata and other future Golden Weeks celebrations though.
Yeah, and to speak on that, I'm just going to chalk it up to Dragon Ball Superhero throwing a wrench in things. That's what I'm going to chalk it up to, and I'm going to have faith that the other celebrations will still be as hype as we want them to be. But we'll see. Vilify, what are your thoughts on comparing this to other celebrations?
So I'm trying to pull up the Heroes celebration, but for some reason the wiki is not collaborating here or cooperating with me, right? But yeah, so I guess if you want to go from a same time comparison, right? So we want to go on the EZAs, right? So I forget how many EZAs were total during the Hero celebration, but we just got so many good ones, right? Like just right off the top of my head, like I could think Janembu is like almost like a game changer, right? With his guarding and his dodging and all that fun stuff.
7 of them or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a bunch of them. Yeah.
And also guaranteed featured banners and stuff like that. So it's obviously this shouldn't be. I'm not saying that these should be like guaranteed featured banners or anything like that, but
yeah,
I think it's set. I've said it in the outline, right? That it just sets kind of a bad precedent, I think. And just especially compared to last year, Minato kind of stole my thunder. I was going to talk about how like last year you think about Super Saiyan 4 EZAs, and then this year it's Ultimate Gohan, right? With like we all were kind of saying like, oh, the Super Saiyan 4 is like the best EZA at that time, and then now we think about Gohan, and he's kind of controversial just because they just had to give him guard chance, right? So, I hope that they don't repeat this trend going forward, but like you said, it's just the hero delay, I think, was really just messed them up, and this is the result.
Yeah, I think so. And thinking about last year's celebration, I think the reason why last year's Golden Week will always overshadow this one is because it was kind of like an out of nowhere joint celebration. Because I believe last year was the first time we ever did it joined, and so not only did that happen, but the Dokkan Fest were crazy good, crazy useful. That GT Heroes team just instantly became like my favorite team at that point. The Super Saiyan 4 EZAs were just ridiculously busted. So I think there's just a lot more better memories of that. And then the content was spaced better. So we didn't feel like there was this big, I think as big of a dry spell there. But the units this celebration are still like crazy, crazy hype. But I once again, I'm going to chalk it up to Dragon Ball Superhero. I think next year's Golden Week will be like back to good form, and I think these other celebrations will be back to form because I think they had to shuffle some things around and they didn't have enough to fill the time slot they had allotted. That is kind of my thought. So moving on, I guess we're going to go to our final topic here. So just in general, what could have made this celebration better? Joker, we'll start with you. What do you think they could have done to actually improve this celebration?
And it's kind of just been what we've been talking about this entire time is, maybe a little bit better spacing on the content, make the free to play units way better, make them actually runnable, actually something good, and I don't know, make like the big time EZAs not as restricted, or not like making them have some weird fatal flaw that's going to cause the community to just go up in arms. Like, we haven't seen what Cell's going to do, but based
Yeah.
on all the previous LR EZAs except for Broly, they've been kind of disappointing. And so it's kind of hard to go into EZA Cell and be like, he's the best linker for the new Cell, it's going to be great, and then he's going to be like just kind of meh.
Right.
So those are my thoughts. It's pretty simple.
Sure. Vilify, how about you? What would you do to make the celebration better?
Part 2 EZA, do AGL LR Gohan and Int Cell, and just kind of drop that bomb on us.
Oof.
There you go.
Yeah. After the 7th year anniversary with the Part EX, I would not be surprised by that. That Part EX just was out of nowhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I would say that the Cell and Gohan are on the level of the Super Saiyan 4s in terms of like how hype and like out of we wouldn't expect it. It would be a very similar feeling, I feel like.
So,
Minato, what would you do to make it better?
Honestly, I personally enjoyed it. I thought the celebration was cool. I just think that, like I said before, space the content out better. And I think what we got, I definitely personally did enjoy when it was like actually new and stuff.
Yeah. And what I think too is, I think even for, because we have this little dry spell here, I think you could keep the celebration basically identical, but just in this really dry week or couple of weeks, just add some legendary Goku event missions, because people like those and they're fun and they're so easy. You can't tell me it takes like 5 programmers and like a week of work to just add a mission to something, right? Like, it's got to be super easy to program. And I think just because Cell Saga has so many units in it, I feel like they could have dropped us 1 or 2 more banner unit EZAs, like the Int Super Vegeta or like the Cell Juniors, or maybe Int 16. Like, I would have liked something like that. I'll just throw a little. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, one thing that they could have done is they could have added to the what's that? What was it? The collection of epic battles? Where's the
Yes, they need to do more of those.
Where's that?
I actually really like that event. So I've said that, and some people are like, I don't like it, but I loved that event during the Namek celebration. I thought it was a little bit unique. To me, it was kind of a combination of SBR and Legendary Goku event, because you get a little bit of the shorter battle style, but then you get the long battle at the end. I kind of liked it being a mix of the two.
I think that was just like the precursor to the Red Zone. It was like, let's try something out, because the Red Zone has both those GT and ESBR kind of feels.
Well, I would kind of disagree, because the red zone is just one singular fight. Those are 3 different fights, right? In the collection epic battles.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to do more collection epic battles, but they maybe will make it exclusive to Worldwide celebration. So maybe every year at Worldwide, they'll have some big theme around some saga, and they will do epic battles in that. That's my theory. Because I feel like if it was going to be a regular thing, they should have done more by now. So maybe they're going to make it a yearly thing.
There was a picture of Cell on the banner for the collection of epic battles, and we are currently in a Cell Saga campaign.
I know. It totally
have
would.
one.
They definitely should have done it now. Like, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying I think that's what their mindset is, because to me, there's no reason they shouldn't have done more of those already, because it's easy content, and I think it would be very fun content to have. As a side note, let's say the celebration obviously like just stays as is. If Physical Cell's EZA is like best LR EZA in the game, would that save the celebration for you if you're maybe disappointed? Anybody want to just chime in on that? Do you think that could save the celebration for people that don't like it, or do you think it's more about the content?
It depends on what like you have. Like if your physical cell is like 55%, and you're like and you don't have AGL cell, and it's like, what are you gonna do, right? Like I don't have AGL cell, so I'm like not as excited about physical cells EZA. Even if he was gonna be like, oh, mega powerful, right? And I'm like, it's cool, but it doesn't really impact me currently, right?
Right. Does anybody else want? Yeah, go ahead, Joker.
I just have to feel the same. I don't have AGL Cell either, but I've got Rainbow Fizz Cell, who's gonna, he's gonna work well with Int Cell, but as soon as his Fizz Cell gets EZA'd, we're gonna look at Int Cell and be like, oh, what you could have been, I guess.
Right.
So
exactly.
I don't know if it will. I don't know if even if he's godly, it will 100% save the celebration. it'll just make it, a little bit better than what it was before.
Right.
I'm 99% sure he's going to be a slot 2 unit. So it's like, what is Incel going to do? He's not saving you in the red zone. So it's whatever. And most 99% of EZA suck if they're not rainbowed. So whatever. But it's good that he's getting an EZA, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Well, does anybody else have anything they want to add on this boisterous day of content in Dokkan before we wrap up? Okay, go ahead.
Quick 5-9 plug for us. Minato and I did a video discussing what potential EZAs for AGL, LR Gohan, and Incel could look like. So if you have not seen that, go ahead and take a look. We made them very good. Minato had a good idea, but I won't spoil what they are in here. You have to go watch if you want to find out.
And I will say another video we have upcoming, could be out at this point actually, would be Physical Cell EZA. We took your guys' fan-made submissions, so that video will be out if not already. So feel free to also check that one out. I had a lot of fun looking over the submissions. I think, a lot of the community is very, very good in making good cards.
Yeah, it was fun looking at those because the cell is so basic, it's really hard to see what he's going to do. And there was some really good, interesting ideas in there. All right.
Yeah,
well,
if their creative juices flowing, right?
yes. And, it's too hard for me to figure out what they're going to do. So I'll let the community do the work and then find a good one, right? And then we can kind of talk about it from there. So, yeah, look forward to that video coming up. We will wrap things up there. So that is going to do it for our show today. I know it's a little bit of a shorter one, but what can you do when you're playing in a desert, right? This has been episode 83 of the Dokkan Battle Podcast. I'd like to thank our guests today, Ice Cold Joker, Vilify, and Minato. My name is Joe Eggs. It has been a pleasure hosting for you today. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you all on the next one. See ya.